You ever sit next to someone you love and realize you're living two completely different retirements? Darilla the gorilla did. At 67, Darilla thought he did everything right. He worked 40 years, saved steadily, bought solid fruit trees that paid him every season. Nothing flashy, no wild bets, just consistency. But his partner? She wanted more. More travel, more spending, more we earned this energy. And that's where the quiet tension started. Because Darilla didn't retire poor. He retired cautious, while his partner retired like money would never run out. At first, it was small things.
Let's upgrade the hut. Let's fly instead of swing. Let's enjoy life while we still can.
And Darilla agreed, slowly. But every time he said yes, he felt something tightening inside. Not fear exactly, more like math. Because in his head, every dollar spent had a lifespan. And in retirement, time is the one thing you can't earn back. So while one of them was enjoying retirement, the other one was quietly calculating how long it would last. That's the problem no one talks about. Not running out of money, running at two different speeds. And if you don't fix it early, one of you ends up pulling the other off a cliff. Now here's where things got worse, because Darilla wasn't the only voice in the room. Enter Saru, Saru the monkey, the kind of friend who always shows up right after a good decision and turns it into a bad one. Saru didn't believe in slow and steady. He believed in stories.
Darilla, you're still living like you're working. Look at me. I'm making double from crypto bananas. You've got money just sitting there. That's wasted life.
And slowly, Darilla's partner started listening. Because Saru didn't talk about risk, he talked about freedom. He didn't talk about downside. He talked about what could happen. And that's seductive, especially in retirement. Because when you feel like time is limited, safe starts to feel like missing out. So one day, Darilla walked into the hut and saw something new. A chunk of their savings moved.
Just trying something small?
She said. But Darilla knew. Small becomes big very fast when emotions are involved, especially when one partner is chasing growth and the other is trying to protect survival. This is where most couples break financially, not because they don't have enough, but because they don't agree on what enough even means. And just when things felt uncertain, that's when Kitsune showed up. Kitsune, the fox. Smooth voice, clean suit, perfect timing.
I specialize in helping retirees maximize income,
He said. That word, maximize, it hit both of them differently. To Darilla, it sounded like risk. To his partner, it sounded like a solution. Kitsune laid it out simply.
Why settle for 4% income when I can get you 10%? No stress, no volatility, just consistent returns.
He even showed charts. Clean, upward, beautiful. And here's the trick most people fall for. Kitsune didn't sound greedy. He sounded reasonable. That's what made it dangerous. Because scams don't look like scams in retirement. They look like answers, especially when couples are already divided. Darilla hesitated, but his partner looked at him and said something that hit harder than any market crash.
Anata, are we living or just waiting to die safely?
And just like that, logic took a second back. Emotion took the wheel. And Darilla made the decision he would regret the most. Darilla didn't say yes right away. He paused. He walked outside, sat under his oldest fruit tree, the one that had paid him steadily for years. No surprises, no excitement, just reliability. That's when his partner came out and sat next to him.
We didn't work this hard just to play it safe forever,
She said. And that line, it doesn't sound wrong. That's why it's so dangerous. Because in retirement, the biggest mistakes don't come from greed. They come from justifying change at the wrong time. Dorilla went back inside, looked at Kisune, looked at the numbers again. 10% income. Low risk. Optimized strategy. All the right words, none of the real answers. So he did what a lot of people do when they feel pressure, emotion, and uncertainty at the same time. He compromised. Not all in, but enough to matter. And for a while, it worked. Payments came in. Everything looked smooth. Saru celebrated early. His partner relaxed. And Dorilla, he stopped checking as often. Because when things feel good, we stop asking hard questions. It didn't collapse overnight. That's not how these things happen. First, a delay,
Just a processing issue.
Kisune said. Then a smaller payout.
Market adjustment.
Then silence. Calls not returned, messages unread, and suddenly that stable 10% income started looking exactly like what it was, an illusion. Dorilla went back to the numbers, this time without emotion, and the math hit harder than any loss. They hadn't just lost money, they lost time. Because in your 30s, you can recover from mistakes. In your 60s, every mistake has a cost you can't earn back. That's when the tension turned real. No more small disagreements. Now it was quiet dinners, short answers, long nights, because the question wasn't just what happened. It was, can we still make this work? That's when Dorilla met Kame. Kame the turtle. Old, slow, no fancy words, no excitement. The opposite of everything that got them into this mess. Dorilla explained everything. The pressure, the disagreement, the decision, the loss. Kame listened and said nothing for a while. Then he asked one question.
Did your plan fail, or did you leave your plan?
Dorilla didn't answer, because he already knew. Kame continued.
You weren't broke because of the market. You're here because you traded certainty for comfort.
That one line stuck, because it was true. Kame didn't offer a miracle, no get-it-back-fast strategy, no shortcuts, just simple, almost boring advice, the kind that works.
First, protect what's left. Second, rebuild income, not excitement. Third, get on the same page, or nothing else matters.
Then he added one more thing in that slow, steady tone.
Retirement isn't about growing fast anymore. It's about not breaking what must last.
For the first time in a while, Dorilla felt something shift. Not relief, not confidence, but clarity. And sometimes, that's the real turning point. Dorilla didn't rush back into investing. He went home and did something much harder. He sat down. No charts, no numbers, no distractions. Just a conversation they had been avoiding.
We're not running out of money,
He said quietly.
we're running in different directions.
Silence. Because deep down, they both knew it. His partner finally spoke.
I was scared we wouldn't live enough.
Dorilla nodded.
I was scared we'd live too long, without enough.
That's the truth most couples never say out loud. Same goal, different fears. And until you understand that, you're not solving a money problem, you're fighting a meaning problem. So they did something simple but powerful. They split their plan into two parts, security and freedom. Security covered the basics, food, shelter, healthcare, survival. Freedom covered everything else, travel, upgrades, experiences. And for the first time, they weren't arguing about money. They were agreeing on boundaries. Kame helped them rebuild. No magic, no hype, just structure,
Start with income you can count on.
he said. So Darilla focused on dividend-paying fruit trees that produced regularly, a small bond ladder for predictable cash flow, cash reserves for emergencies. Nothing exciting. And that was the point, because in retirement, excitement is expensive. Then came the freedom bucket, a smaller portion. This is where his partner could still invest, explore, even take some risks, but with one rule.
If it goes to zero, your life doesn't change.
That rule changed everything, because now risk had a boundary and safety had a purpose. Kame summed it up in one line.
Don't use survival money to chase happiness. Fund happiness after survival is guaranteed.
Simple, but most people never do it. There was no big win, no viral success story, no moment where everything came back overnight. Just slow progress, month by month. Income stabilizing, confidence returning, arguments disappearing, and something unexpected happened. Peace. Not the loud, exciting kind, but the quiet kind. The kind where you stop checking your account every day. The kind where a market drop doesn't ruin your mood. The kind where both of you finally feel like you're on the same team again. Saru stopped visiting as much because there were no more quick wins to talk about. Kisune, gone. But Kame, still there. Still slow. Still reminding them.
If you don't need to rush, you won.
Darilla looked around one evening. Same forest. Same hut. Less money than before, but more control than ever. And that's when it hit him. Retirement isn't about having the most. It's about making what you have last as long as you do. Most people think the biggest risk is the market. It's not. It's misalignment. It's chasing different goals with the same money. So here's the real question. If you're retired or getting close, are you and your partner actually on the same plan or just hoping things work out? Because the difference between those two is everything. Drop a comment. Are you the security type or the freedom type in your retirement? And more importantly, does your partner agree?